Hello, Connective. Today we have a combined getting into the Vortex and High Vibe deck. Actually got the getting into the Vortex in my hands right now, but go ahead and rate your vibration from 1 to 10, 1 being a low vibration, 10 being a higher vibration. And when we get that card out of the High Vibe deck and we pair it with this Vortex card, we'll see if we can raise it just a little bit. Ooh. Whoa, a bunch of cards almost came out. Okay. Did the accordion thing, and then this one jumped out, which is others' opinions are less important than my personal guidance system. Yeah, I don't think we've gotten this one. Got a lot to say about that one. Let's see what High Vibe card comes out of that deck and see. Wow, a bunch of them flipped around, but one of them actually fell. What did we get? Wow. Wow. I'm going to read this one. Heart love. Feel and receive warm energy into your heart. Say the words, I love you, and imagine those words going into the back of your heart just between your shoulder blades, filling yourself up. This is purest act of self-love. Practice love daily. Nice. Wow. So, others' opinions are less important than my personal guidance system. Let me read this one. You did not intend to use the opinions of others to measure against your beliefs, desires, or actions in order to determine the appropriateness of them. Instead, you knew and still remembered long after you were born that it was the relationship between the opinion or knowledge of the source within you and your current thoughts in any moment that would offer you perfect guidance in the form of your emotional guidance system. Why is that? Well, before we get to this card, let's talk about that just a little bit. Before I do start, I want to say that, these are the Vortex cards. These are the cards that help you to get into your Vortex. When we're talking about stuff like this is the kind of stuff that takes you out of your Vortex. The reason why that is because you know better than anyone else anything about you. I don't care what it is. I mean, people might be able to observe behaviors and they might say, oh, you bite your lip right before you giggle or, whatever. And I get that. I'm talking about what's inside, what's truly inside. And anybody else's opinion isn't helpful in that case. Even if they love you, you love them, I'm sorry, but when people give their opinions about what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing, it's wrapped around not only their belief system and their belief system about how it relates to you, but also how they feel about that. It's their desire on top of the answer. Like if you said something like, I thought of a question, but it's a bad example. Let's say if you and your sister were going out, you guys were like, you always go out together, and like you always go to clubs together or whatever, and you always dress up, and you just happen to like wear, like you share clothes. And you ask your sister, you take this little like red plaid skirt out and you say, hey, what do you think? You think I should wear this skirt with this shirt? If your sister, if she's, most people, if she wants to wear that skirt, she'll say, no, you should wear this skirt with that shirt. Right? it could just be sometimes, that that person might even say, well, I really did want to wear that skirt, but that would look cute together. Then you kind of have that conversation or whatever. And there are people like that, of course. And even people who want to wear it but don't say anything, and then see the outfit together and say, oh yes, absolutely, you should wear that, and then they just go find something else. But typically, when there's a question, their opinion is in the answer. It's not just a straightforward answer that's designed for your highest good. Their highest good is wrapped around somewhere too. And I'm just talking about in terms of friendship, people who do want the best for you and are trying to answer questions honestly. They may not necessarily realize the difference with, objectivity, especially if the question or the situation at hand is like important or sensitive. What they want is going to be wrapped up there. Mom, I want to go live on the other side of the world to go to college. What? I can't handle that. Stuff like this. So that's mild. This is on a mild level. We're talking about, again, like people who love you, want the best for you. They still have their ideas of what they want for you, But also think about the people who don't love you, who tell you should do this, you should do that, but don't really care what you do. They just kind of like, either trying to get you to do something they want to do but can't, or, whatever the reason is for people trying to tell other people what they should be doing, like they should be like spending their time doing. But this card also reminds me of, don't take advice from people whose opinions you wouldn't ask in the first place, because everybody has one. So, if you wouldn't, ask your sister, hey, should I wear this, this skirt with that shirt? And you go to put it on and she says, well, I wouldn't wear that. You just go, well, I'm not you. So it's one of those things where you kind of have to, like, if you would ask someone and they say, hey, I wouldn't wear that, yeah, consider it. But you know the thing, like when later on you settle on something else and then they're wearing that skirt you wanted to wear, it's obvious. So, again, like your own opinion of how you should solve the problem, your own opinion of where you want to go to school, your own opinion of what kind of relationships that you want, and whether or not you want to accept someone else's opinion, especially if it differs from yours, all in your control. As far as what you want to accept, what you don't want to accept, because you already know that all these other opinions that are around you are not necessarily designed for your highest good. Someone else's highest good is wrapped around there. Where the way this card says, you didn't intend to use the opinions of others to measure against your beliefs, desires, or actions in order to determine the appropriateness of them. This is that statement basically says, other people's opinions of how you move forward in life. That's kind of heavy for other people to be, I was going to say, exerting themselves into, which is kind of a strange, I think, choice of words. I wouldn't normally say that, but, it's kind of like, now I'm questioning everything I decide because it doesn't align with what you want for me. Meanwhile, what you want for me isn't necessarily aligned with my highest good. How am I supposed to even process that? We never intended to. And, instead you knew and still remembered long after you were born that it was the relationship between the opinion or knowledge of the source within you, your higher self, that piece of you that is you, that matches your desires here in that persona of you. That's what they're talking about, the source within you and your current thoughts. So that's you in any moment that would offer you perfect guidance in the form of your emotional guidance system. Again, are you asking me to do something that doesn't feel good? Because maybe that's why I shouldn't do it. If I'm leading in this direction, this is my priority. This is what I feel for myself. Again, why would I listen to someone else's opinion of that. I wouldn't. And basically what they're saying was you were never intended to. Not in this life, not like this. So, consider that. That card very much stands on its own in that way of, your own opinion is and always was more important than everyone else's opinion about everything and anything that has any relation to you. You're the one who's going to have your best interest in mind every single time, especially in the hard times, in the difficult decisions, in the things that are really uncomfortable or really important. You're the one who's going to know what's better for you. And it really stands out when someone asks you to do something that's like really ridiculous. You're so uncomfortable, you're like, well, I'm not even going to do that. Don't ask me to do that. Say somebody asks you to lie. And you say, well, I wouldn't even lie to my people. Why would I lie to your people? What the hell is that? And what are you asking me? Why are you asking me that? Do you think I'm a liar? Because I'm not. Now you want to make me one? What's up with you? Can't you just do your own lies? Others' opinions are less important than my personal guidance system. Well, I thought you would you thought wrong. Yeah, you created this mess. Work it out, man. That can be said with love. I mean, it is kind of like, what we're talking about, like with that is a form of tough love. Everybody has their own version of tough love, but for me, tough love is that stuff that is like making someone stand on their own, like clean up a mess that they created, and not just not helping them anymore, just being like, what, you've done this enough. You need to learn how to clean up. Once you clean it up, you won't do this anymore. Because you'll realize that you don't want to clean it up. You'll know how to undo it, so you won't do it again. Can't help you again. I love you though. I mean, again, did you think that I was gonna It's part of loving yourself, filling yourself up. What does it say? This is purest act of self-love. Again, it's kind of hard to have self-love when other people's opinions are prominent. It is. I don't care what it's about. When you kind of say, you know what? My opinions here are just really more important. They are. They're just really more important. It's easier to love yourself because you've established what's important to you, what you think, not trying to be something that someone else thinks you should be. You're being who you want to be, which makes you happy, makes you comfortable, makes you confident. You don't take that pushback from others about what you're doing. You say, I'll just tell the truth. It makes me feel better about myself. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to work it out. And you just really honor yourself. And let other people know too. Hey, I'm a loving person. So make sure if you're around me, you're loving too. That's my opinion of you. See how that grabs them? Honestly, it really is part of self-love. You don't have to be incredibly assertive about it, People could just say stuff and you can just either say, well, that's not really what I like. If somebody says, oh, you should do your nails this way. I don't really like them that way, or I did that before and this happened, or, I'm just not, I don't think so. I found this other thing, which is like the opposite, which I love, you know. I mean, sometimes I wonder why you're even asking me to do and that's a really, really, really small thing. So, you know, when it's a really big thing, hey, you should go do this for a job. And you kind of go, huh? Is that what you think of me? I was gonna do something else. I was gonna do something I loved. You know, honestly. No, it's a good thing I didn't ask you where I should work. I'm just gonna do my thing here. And again, you don't have to be like, I mean, you don't have to tell people no if you don't want to. You don't, and there's so many ways to let people know that the suggestion really isn't necessary. You know, however works for you as far as how you want to handle it for, you know, for yourself and your beliefs. You know, everybody's different with how they handle people and different people and, you know, different situations, and, you know, the subject might matter, and but think of yourself first, honor yourself first. Don't forget, you know, don't forget. It's not just about, you know, listening to yourself, you know, it's about loving yourself, feeling and receiving warm energy into your heart. That real love, you know, not just listening to your own, you know, track, you know, say the words I love you, especially if you're not hearing it from others. Just say it. And it says, and imagine those words going into the back of your heart, just between your shoulder blades, and fill yourself up. Practice love daily. You know, if you can feel energy, you'll feel that. Take note of it. Is it warm? You know, is it comforting? Put yourself in that place every day. This surely won't matter. Whatever it's about. You'll just know. You'll be like, yeah. You'll think about it maybe for a moment. Should I get my nails done this way? You know what? I remember when I did it last time. Nope. And you're done. And you know. And you already. You don't even have to sign anything you have to fight, or you just go, well, I'm not interested in trying that right now. Maybe later. But now it's done, and you just love yourself. I do this because I love myself. I do this because I love myself. You know. So remember. Listen to yourself and love yourself. Until we meet again.